All right, well, we're live everywhere. All right, hello, Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. With me, as always, is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is well here. I have a corporate show update, Jake.
What's that?
The most shocking thing happened. They sent me an email and said, we don't think comedy is the right fit for us. And it's like, no shit. At least they owned up to it. At least they didn't say, hey, we don't think you're a good comedian, or we don't think you're... At least they owned up and realized, okay, we are a bunch of IT nerds that don't really have any interpersonal, like, human skills. So... Right. You know, art forms are not for us. We are very technical. Some of us are on the spectrum. We don't understand nuance and laughter, so we're not going to go with comedy. At least they owned up to them being the problem.
That's fair, man. It's better than them doing whatever weird stuff they were doing, booking the comic anyway, because let's face it, most of us are desperate and will do any hell gig for $1. Mm-hmm. And, just ruining the entire, what was this? Like some kind of, it was an employee event, right?
It was a corporate event for their employees. Yeah, they were doing it for their employees. I was going to tell jokes, but then they realized, oh, we'd rather sit around and do Sudoku with one another. That's about the level we're at.
They seem like a Sudoku crowd, you know?
Yeah.
You can send all the answers to the HR in advance so they can make sure none of them are no 4-letter words in there, so to speak.
Crossword puzzles. Oh, that crossword puzzle is it's about it's World War II. It has a historical reference, and that triggers me. Let's ditch that one.
That's I imagine a lot's going on. You know,
Richard's here.
Sudoku maybe much.
Todd's
maybe
here.
Haiku.
Ultra's here.
Sudoku could go anywhere.
It can. But they like numbers, so that's good for them. They're good with numbers. They're not good with people. They're good with sitting and being quiet. They're not good with listening or comprehending. So it was good of them to realize. And it's funny because I told the story I told here last week to like several of my comedian friends. One who has been a corporate comedian. He doesn't do clubs anymore. He just does corporate work. And he said, dude, I don't even like the Zoom call angle where they interview me. It's like, just watch my tape. And if you don't want to book me, that's fine. But he was like aghast when they asked for the typed notes and then the Zoom call performance. He's like, no, dude. And he said something that I don't know if we said it last week, but it's true. He said, the bigger pain in the ass a client is, the show is going to be worse. The bigger a pain in the ass they are, the worse the show is going to be. And all signs pointed to that. But I was still going to take it for the money.
I can't see Jordan Belfort, the guy that Wolf on Wall Street was based on. Like when they would hire a comic in between the midget toss and the doing coke off of the hookers at the company shindig. I don't think they were asking too many questions. I think they were going around going, I've seen that guy. He's funny as fuck. Uses a lot of slurs and curses. Get him.
Yep. All right, let's jump into some news. The first thing, I didn't even send you a link because it just popped up. Have you seen the TikToks of people dumping Coke down the drain?
No.
Okay, so...
I'm not on TikTok enough.
Okay. Apparently, and I'm going to get this a little wrong, correct me in the comments, everyone, but Coca-Cola released some sort of special website where you can order, you know how they put the names on cans, like the Coke can that says Todd or Jake or Bob and all those? You could personalize it. You could order a Coke with a saying on it. But because Coca-Cola is run by the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet, they made it so you couldn't put something about Jesus. So people were trying to put Jesus as Lord on their bottle of Coke, and it said, nope, you can't put that. So they got offended and said, Coca-Cola hates Jesus. I'm pouring my Coke down the drain. Now, I have two thoughts. One, Coke, you should have seen this coming. when you programmed it so that you couldn't write Jesus is Lord on the cans, someone should have raised their hand and said, hey, do you think Christians are going to take this the wrong way and raise a fucking crybaby stink? This was the most obvious thing you should have seen coming. But 2, crybabies pouring it down the drain. A question for you. Say someone had printed Allahu Akbar on their can of Coke. Would you be okay with that? Because technically, that phrase just means God is great. So, are you going to be pissed if a Muslim says God is great because they say it in a language you don't understand, even though the two of you worship the same God? Overall, both sides are wrong in the scenario. Coke should have fucking known fucking better. And crybaby Christians are just going to cry because they feel oppressed because they can't put Jesus on a can of Coke. It's insane. I can't believe Coke walked right into this one, though.
Plus, didn't that guy turn his blood into wine, not carbonated sugar water? Shouldn't you be putting it on a bottle of wine anyway? You didn't even read the book. I never even read the book. I just heard the stories through people. You know what I mean? What are we talking about?
Wait, Ultra says, is this true? You can only put negative comments towards Jesus? Nope, you could put Jesus sucks. I didn't see that.
I'm guessing not. I'm guessing you couldn't put negative stuff anyway, but I think, as long as things remain consistent, would Coke turn down somebody putting like a Jewish phrase or a Muslim phrase on there or something like that? Who knows? But if they would, fine. If not, I think the Christians got a little more. Yeah, they're a little right to be fucking annoyed. I think. If I could put Muhammad on there, but I can't put Jesus on there. What the hell is that?
Well, maybe you can put Jesus, but I think because you could say it's Jesus, but I don't know.
Oh, that's a tricky way. Here, you just got to tell them your last name is like Consuelo, or you know what I mean. Just have like a Spanish last name. Like, no, it's Jesus' birthday. So it's what, September or December 25th. That's right. Haha, I got you.
The best one, I did see this. There was one woman who posted 2 videos, not back to back. First, I saw one where she's dumping Coke, and they're all playing the same Christian song about Jesus being, I love Jesus, and Jesus is awesome. And they're playing that song as they're dumping the Coke. So this one woman, she's dumping Coke and playing the Jesus is love song. Then she's dumping Diet Coke, 3 of them. But then, 2 or 3 videos later, she's like, now I'm drinking Fairlife, milk and chocolate milk, good Fairlife, glug, glug, glug. And someone pointed out
Pepsi. In the obvious choice, switch to Pepsi, not like milk and chocolate.
That would be the obvious choice, but the best part is...
You wanted soda, you're going with milk?
Well, Coca-Cola owns Fairlife. Coca-Cola gets all the profits for... It's like, fuck you, Coke, I'm drinking milk. Except, it's like, I'm not eating at Pizza Hut. I'm eating at Taco Bell because fuck Pepsi. Pepsi owns both.
That is the genius of being one of those umbrella companies that just owns a ton of companies. You can have the anti-Christian company going, we don't put that religious bullshit on our soda. Take it elsewhere. And then you have the other people over there going, don't listen to those heathens. We will put Christ on your soda. We are Pepsi, the voice of a new generation and the voice of a new testament. But it's like, oh, you've owned both the companies. Shit.
Right, exactly. It goes back to our beer. You should make a pro-trans and anti-trans beer and then just sell both and let people get angry at whichever side they want to be angry over.
What the corporations, the billionaires, the 1%, the Illuminati, the lizard people, what they've done with the Democrat and Republican Party, you should do with soft drinks and religion. That I think that's the move.
I'm typing right now. I'm asking AI because Ultra insists that you can put negative. No, you aren't allowed to put negative stuff on a Coke can either. The rules officially ban both. However, the reason people think you can boils down to how lazy AI text filters work and the difference between an online preview screen versus what actually gets printed on a can. So would an anti-Jesus can actually get made? No. Generating a picture of a customized can is step 1, but printing is this. So they would get caught. So yeah, they bust you either way if you put Jesus as a douchebag. But again, what if it's Jesus? What if you hired Jesus to do some handiwork around your house and he didn't do it, and so you're like, fuck Jesus. I can't believe Coke walked into this with eyes open. You know that when you try to personalize anything, you're going to piss people off somehow. Maybe just sell fucking soda. Maybe just sell soda.
Yeah, I don't get the lack of letting people put whatever they want. I mean, I get, you can't put Hail Hitler on the soda. Like, I'm not letting you put that on the, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm Coke, you're not gonna, you're not gonna, 6 million seems high, Coca-Cola. Like, I just, you can't do that, but anything else, like within reason, it's odd. It's odd.
Yeah.
It's funny because the irony of it is they probably decided not to put it on there, not because they hate Christians, but because they wanted to avoid controversy somehow.
Exactly.
And now here, knock, knock, knock. Here's a controversy.
Here's the controversy.
They bent so far and got so ridiculous trying not to avoid controversy that it just seemed crazy. And now that's a controversy.
And I just can't believe no one raised their hand and asked, is this really a good idea? Is this going to backfire? How could it? Oh, Coke. It's amazing that you're $1 billion corporation given all the fucking mistakes you make.
I mean, but that's the cool thing about selling a product that's so addictive and bad for you. Turns out Pablo Escobar wasn't the nicest guy either, but he made a few shekels in the 80s. Also selling the same chemical that Coca-Cola used to sell. That's the name.
This is what I just told Ultra. The point is they'll let you put Jesus as a douchebag, but they won't produce it. So who cares? They won't accept the phrase. They'll preview the phrase because AI is missing it, but they're not going to print it. It's yeah. All right, let's jump into some news.
I wonder if they would put. I wonder if they would let me put Trump won the 2020 election. Coca-Cola. Like, will they let me? Will they let me go election denial? Will they let me do that?
Yeah, Trump won 2020. Just a short little phrase. I wonder if you can find ways around it, like T won 2020. We all know what T stands for.
Right. 45 equals 46 because it's, like 45, 1, 46. Yeah.
Right. 45 became 46, not 47.
We can make all kinds of QAnon little codes and stuff on the Coca-Cola.
Yeah. All right. Here's my favorite story of the week.
I love that they're sitting there going, before we move on, I love they're like, wait, these phrases somehow could be bad for people. You know what's bad for people is what's inside that fucking bottle. It's causing people to get diabetes and lose their feet. Forget about anything they could read on there. I don't care. Like reading the most crazy fascist rants on this thing would not be as bad for you as drinking what's in that bottle.
As the Coke itself. Yes. All right. Here's my favorite story this week. It is not my clickbait headline. I don't think I have one of those. I'll have to look again. But holy shit, when I stumbled across this, insane. Los Angeles homeless nonprofit paid their CEO $1.6 million over 2 years. A taxpayer-funded Southern California nonprofit that provides domestic violence shelters and homelessness services paid its longtime CEO more than $1.6 million over 2 years, including hundreds of thousands of dollars for decades of unused vacation time, according to multiple media reports. So the headline is 1.6, but she cashed in like 14 years of vacation time. So
I love that you can do that at the corporate level. You know what happens to me at the end of the year if I don't use my vacation
get
time?
Shit canned, you lose it.
The CEO wipes her fucking ass with it. That's what happens. That's what happens to most people if they don't take their vacation time. But the CEO, the one whose vacation times is worth like 10 grand a day, they can just fucking do that after 14.
Oh, they get to roll it over.
Nonetheless, of all things.
Her base salary remained $405,000. That's a pretty good base salary. That is a pretty good. But I look at this number here. Roughly $824,000 in vacation time was paid out over 2023 and 2024. Do they have it? How many years? She's also been the CEO of this organization while maintaining her primary residence in Hawaii for 11 years. She lives in a mansion in Hawaii and helps homeless people in Los Angeles. I don't see the like how many years she racked it up.
Homeless charity CEO and you live in a mansion, there better be no fucking homeless people no more. I mean, God, it better be everybody who used to be homeless now has like a 3-bedroom condo, you know, swimming pool in the facilities, you know, terrace, all of that.
I mean, as far as I know, and don't quote me on this, someone look it up in the comments, I do not think Bill Gates takes a salary for being the founder and CEO, whatever you want to call him, of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
It's what do they call those real charities? That in the charity community is what's known as an actual charity as opposed to a fucking scam, which most charities. What a shit country we have anymore. How far is this country declined to where it's like, oh, I don't even want to give money to charity, not because I don't have a lot of money. Well, that's the real reason, but. You know, secondly, even though I did have a lot of money, I'm not giving it to one of these criminals, one of these goddamn criminals that runs these charity organizations.
Well, and that's why I think that's why. I'm not positive, but I would believe that when Michael J. Fox was diagnosed with Parkinson's, he founded the Michael J. Fox Parkinson's Foundation. He didn't just go, oh, there's already one out there. Well, I'll just give them millions of dollars. He's like, I kind of want to control this so I know where the money's going. And then a couple of years ago, Glenn Tipton of Judas Priest was diagnosed with Parkinson's. Boom, founds the Judas Priest, Glenn Tipton. Like they look at the charities that are out there and go, the overhead seems a bit high. I'm going to found one so I know where the money's going. And you have all these multiple foundations fighting the same diseases and for the same causes because they all look at what's out there already and go, I'm just going to, I want to know where my money's going. And so they're all fighting for the same cause because nobody wants to put all the eggs in one corrupt basket.
Dude, this is a controversial take, but one of my favorite Robin Williams movies was Death to Smoochie.
Okay.
I know it's a little cheesy or whatever, but like, dude, I loved it so much. If you guys haven't seen it, look, it's not The Godfather. Okay, let me just start by saying that. I know it's not The Godfather.
Did Danny DeVito direct it?
I believe so. He was in it too. He's great.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. I was going to say this up front, but I literally, I've said this before at the beginning of a podcast. I played pickleball for 3 hours. I drank 3 of these. I have 96 fluid ounces of water in me. I am peeing clear every 15 minutes. Talk about Death to Smoochie. I will hear you. I should wear a Depends on certain Sunday mornings because I just throw that bottle
back up underneath the table. No one even had to know anything about this, man. You could have been sneaky. I done pissed 3 times since we've started the podcast. I've pissed. I've washed my hands with little what do they call it? Hand sanitizer. I'm sneaky like that. You know what I mean? Because unlike that dude in there taking breaks from a 45-minute podcast, I actually care enough about the listeners to sit here and pee during the podcast. You know, it's called dedication. It's called professionalism. Frankly, I don't think he deserves a dime of the $0 or dimes for that matter that we make off this podcast. I think I would make a bad
truck driver. I admit it. I would. And you're welcome. I peed into the side of the bowl so you could not hear splashes as I was in there. You didn't hear. There was no. I did not do a Naked Gun reenactment where you are listening with me.
Yeah. No, but yeah. Either way, I got my bottle. I got my empty. See, empty Gatorade bottle's the way to go because it's got the wide lip. Always start if you're doing a long road trip. You know what I mean. And you don't
I can't because how do you get it? You have to like scooch up and take the seatbelt off, and I literally just pull off on an off ramp and pee, and then get back in my car and go.
I don't have that kind of time all the time. You know what I mean? Whether I'm driving along roads, whether I'm doing a long 45-minute podcast, I got to have that Gatorade bottle to where I can just top it off quick. And then, just throw it out at the next rest stop I go to. But that's always start a road trip with a Gatorade bottle because you get the wide rim. Easy not to miss,
Death to Smoochie.
Death to Smoochie. So I love it because they do have a mobster that Harvey Fierstein plays a mobster that runs the children's organization. And they're angered by the fact that Edward Norton's character, who's Smoochie, who's like actually not a shady, corrupt children's character like Robin Williams' character. Anyway, he's refusing to do whatever they wanted, and so now he's got to worry about getting whacked by the charity because the children's charities are all run by the mob. But
that's funny. I mean, that's a good.
I think that's absolutely the way I picture every single charity in this country.
Well, and also, I don't have the specifics in my brain or in front of me, but a couple of years ago, they said that the Mexican cartels were not only into like drugs, but then they got into human trafficking because it was more profitable, but also they're getting into like little touristy things. Like they have their fingers in everything. They branch out. So it's you can't win.
I heard now most of the homeless charities in LA are being run by the Crips. That's just what's going on. They're just, they sell heroin and they pretend to help the homeless.
Well, I mean, there's apparently good money in it. This woman right here, which store, LA homeless, the attorney said its board asked her to remain CEO after she left California and credited her leadership with helping the organization grow. They reported $89 million in annual revenue. So, paying her $481,000 is a drop of water in that bucket.
It just shows you what a declining empire we are, right? Because if you go back like 100 years ago and go to like, the really nice yacht clubs, country clubs, wherever the upper crust of society mingles, there'd be guys there or like on the Titanic before it went down, and they're just sitting there go, how'd you make your money? I made my money off the railroads. Yes, I invested in the first track that went across this whole state. Now I own the whole line. I own the whole, and then you fast forward past that. Oh, the automobile. I founded an automobile company, and I sell equipment to Henry Ford himself. And you go a little past that. It's I make weapons because now I make guns. You keep going fast forward. Oh, computers. You know what I mean? Maybe 80s or 90s. I make computers. It's a big tech boom and everything. And then social media, actually, the software for the computer. I make that. Now it's how did I buy my mansion to get on Hawaii? I pretend to give homeless people houses. You see, the government gives me all of your tax money that you give them, and then I say I'll give these homeless people a home. Just kidding, I'm giving myself a fifth home. And then I sail off into the sunset with my yacht.
Well, my
SS homeless. That's what it says on the side of it. SS homeless. That's what I call my yacht.
My favorite line in the story is federal rules require nonprofit executive compensation to be, quote, reasonable. It's like, well, California law requires nonprofit boards to ensure CEO compensation is just and reasonable. So I guess when you have a budget, when you pull in $89 million, 400,000 is reasonable, and allowing her to accrue. I wish I could find the number that said she saved up how many years of vacation, because 824, she got double her salary in vacation benefits. So,
Dude,
good for her for working all year for not going on vacation.
As a taxpayer, I'm not a taxpayer in California. I'm assuming there's some federal money as well. Maybe some of this was, I think she should be dragged out of her mansion and homeless people get to live there now. That's and then send her to a condo. I think that's fair. She goes to how did I get rich? Pretending to give homeless people houses. That's how I got. Okay, well then we're giving homeless people that house. Fuck you.
Well, it says that for when it started, she was allowed to accrue 8 weeks of vacation annually, an amount reduced in 2012 to 4 weeks. So she would get 2 months vacation. She could build up 2 months of vacation. I mean, this seems like we chose the wrong career here. We should have gotten into a homeless CEO. We should have gone to college to be a homeless CEO. Yeah,
I can tell you right now. Still a lot of homeless people without houses. That problem ain't gone. She ain't. And you sitting there going, well, you want to get the best people. That's why you pay such a high amount. It's like, well, she didn't do her fucking job because there's still a ton of homeless people out there. So
there's more in LA. They keep Yeah, well, Ken's got a good point. Why would someone living in a mansion in Hawaii need a vacation? No, you are on a permanent vacation when you are. All you do, if you need a vacation, you walk out your front porch, stretch, and just look at the sunset and the ocean, and you're like, there you go. You're always on vacation.
I'm telling you right now, we evict this bitch from that mansion. We drive a van up to a tent city in downtown LA, and we go, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 1,000. Everybody guess. Whoever gets closest, boom, we're flying them to Hawaii. They now live in this evil wench's mansion.
Well, I just Googled, and Hawaii, how many homeless in Hawaii? 4,500 on Oahu alone. So just, you could put some of the Hawaii homeless in her in her mansion. You don't even need to fly him over from LA.
Dude, anyone who gets rich off of working at a charity is a scumbag. That is a scumbag. I would have less disgust by somebody who sustains myself by drinking the blood of children. This is crazy. At least my tax dollars didn't pay for those kids' blood.
You mean like Tom Hanks and Oprah Winfrey? So as we've been told multiple times that they are lizard people. All right,
say what you want about them drinking blood, man. At least they're not stealing money from the government to do it.
Well, speaking of stealing money, segue. That's called a segue, ladies and gentlemen. This is my favorite headline of the week because I can't love this story more. Shake Shack worker allegedly robbed his own restaurant at gunpoint and then returned to work days later. Victims recognized his voice, physical characteristics, and familiarity with the store. A Phoenix man faces robbery and kidnapping charges after police say he robbed the Shake Shack location in Scottsdale where he was employed, then returned to work 2 days later.
Nice.
I mean, he must not have gotten a good haul because you at least take a week or two off. He got away with $2,800 in cash. I mean, it's not a lot. That's enough to hold you for a month. Maybe I don't know how expensive it is in Arizona, but he locked
a month 200. He got how much? $2,000?
$2,800, almost $3,000.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to think if you're going to go rob a store like a gunpoint, you probably got bills / a massive addiction that, you know what I mean? Like he was probably high for a week.
Well, when they believed it was him, when they're like, hey, we think it's this guy, they were able to pull his cell records, which pointed out that, yes, he did take a cell phone and it showed he was there. So surveillance shows him exiting in a green SUV, but it doesn't say whether or not that's his SUV. But yeah, his cell phone records put a device in the area of the restaurant at the time of the robbery. So, oops. And then he wears the Shake Shack uniform to his first court appearance.
All right, dude, I just like this guy now, man. That's just a fun. He's like, hey, this is the nicest outfit I have, Your Honor. What the fuck you want from me?
He allegedly told law enforcement he discarded the clothing he wore during the incident. And so there you go.
I mean, I just like it. He just seems like a fun hang. The showed up to court in Shake Shack. I mean, he is just gonna anybody serving time in that penitentiary is in for a fucking treat. I mean, this guy is gonna be a fun hang. You're gonna have a lot of chuckles around the mess hall table.
It keeps getting better. A search warrant was executed and turned up a firearm with the characteristics similar to the one used in the robbery, along with an amount of money that was consistent with the stolen cash. I mean, this is just beautiful. It's all built off this headline. Shake Shack worker allegedly, of course, robbed his own restaurant at gunpoint, then returned to work. Like, the only thing that would make this story better, the only thing that would make this better is if he used a couple names, like the employees, if they didn't have name tags on, he's like, hey, Bill, give me the money. Right. Hey, Deandra, get in the cooler, whatever. If he just
it's just some total crackhead, spur of the moment kind of thing. He's got the ski mask on, but he's still got his work uniform with the name tag. It's just like, Frank, I know that's you. This ain't Frank, motherfucker. No, I mean, like literally, I'm reading Frank. Like, dude, you just took a piss, and now you're back with a ski mask and a gun. Like, this is crazy.
You went into the bathroom, put a ski mask, and then went out, stick him up.
I know it's you. Okay, your name's Ted or whatever, but I'm calling the cops and saying it's Frank. So, whatever.
All right, this story, I don't have anything funny on. I wanted to bring this up to you. This one genuinely confuses me. This is not a haha, let's make fun of this story. I need information. Trump orders the Navy to return to an older system of launching jets off aircraft carriers. President Donald Trump is ordering the U.S. Navy to remove the advanced system used to launch fighter jets from its newest type of aircraft carrier and return to using older steam catapults that he has long said this will cost billions of dollars to retrofit to degrade them. So my confusion is, I know he's the commander in chief. Can he just issue a blanket order, hey, I know this is the modern way, and that every other military, you read the article, every other Navy in the world is using this one, but I like the old one, old school. It's gonna have to come out that he knows someone in the steam launch industry that wants to retrofit it.
I was gonna say, I think that's probably the reason. So much of that stuff in government is, because that's why I know when I was in we were told by our armorers, especially while we were deployed and stuff, hey, M4s technically, but they're basically ARs, just with one difference to the trigger weld,
Okay.
So those you can get civilian side at the time refurbished maybe $900, but they were $3,000 is what they were paying per pop.
Yeah.
So, these guys, they make contracts with friends of theirs, just more famously in the news, the reflecting pool.
The reflecting pool. Yep. Yeah. The guy that donated money.
But my friend gets this contract, and whether he fucks it up or not, that's who cares. I'm using your money, not mine.
But I guess the confusion comes in. Can he literally, as the commander in chief, say you have to use this system? Nobody else has any say. I'm sure Hegseth will, stick his tongue up his ass and say, yes, this is the way forward.
Well, that's just it. If you've put people in place that would, technically not. But if I've put all the people in place who are making the decisions, then no, I didn't, as president, say to do a thing. My Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War, he said to do it. And so that's legal or whatever.
I want to interrupt quick. Anybody on TikTok, I just know that Jake and I, we are open to you saying whatever you want. So when I see this, some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. That's not us. We have no filters on our comments. So if you typed, hey, you guys are stupid and the worst, and the one guy with the hair is gay and the bald guy is ugly, that's fine by us. Whatever TikTok censored.
By the way, they got it backwards anyway, but go on.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I just had this pop up that said TikTok is censoring comments people are trying to leave for us. You can say whatever you want to say.
Go nuts.
And Ken is saying Trump purposely kept and that he didn't even know the U.S. was running out of missiles. Yeah, the general sentiment where he wanted to drop. Yeah, that's the other part, where the missiles. But I'm just gobsmacked.
Right, there's that ship over there where they can't get resupplies or whatever.
Was it the link? Yeah, the one that's been out for 250 days. And
to me, that's a long time to be there, especially on a boat. That said, the length of time on the boat isn't the main issue to me. The main issue, again, I was deployed now on land. Once I was over there for 9 months. The other time we actually got extended, I was over there 18. And that was a long time, but we got supplies the whole time.
Yeah.
We had, especially my second one, when I was in Afghanistan, we had to get all of our supplies via helicopter, basically, because the fob was so remote.
I visited a base like that in Afghanistan where it was so unsafe. They had to do drops. They were in the middle of the shit. And I don't remember. I wish I had it written down, but
necessarily, because you can get convoys with enough firepower to whatever. It has less to do with the safety of the place and more to do with the fact that it's so remote that you can't really bring convoys up these mountains and stuff like that because of the size of them, and they'll just fall off of these crumbly dirt roads that are just going up the side of the mountains that are really just sort of made for really small trucks and cars. So you bring like a 2-ton military vehicle up there, like you're asking for fucking problems, right? So and it's too small a fob to have fixed wings land on it. It's too small to have a runway, so you gotta just have helicopters because they just go straight up and down, Well,
the place, I have 2 stories I want to tell. One, the base, and I have video footage of it. It was in the middle of a valley. It was surrounded, and they did a drop. They said, when this Black Hawk lands, you will jump off and run to you could see the walled building. You're like, well, I could make that. And they're like, no, you're jumping in the MRAP and getting driven to the door. Like you were already. And so at one point,
just to get out of the birds kind of, so many 100 feet away from it as quick as you can. You move quick so it can take back off.
And so when we did that, we did the touch and run. At some point, I'm looking around and I'm like, have you guys ever been a part of like an assault on Precinct 13 where they're just like, we're coming from all angles? And he goes, yeah, we've had that happen. But the good news is, we had good radio intercepts, so we waited for them to line up, and then we lit them up. We knew where they were because and so it was neat to hear. But like just looking around, I could see like, oh, this is why this is unsafe. You are basically surrounded. You're a base in the middle of nowhere. But 2, the second story I want to tell really quick. I will tell you flat out, the worst show I have ever done for the military was in Bahrain, and I have it written down somewhere. But a ship came in from, I don't know how many months at sea, say 3, say 6, whatever it was. A ship docked for the first time, and it docked at like 2, 3, or 4 p.m. So by 8 p.m. showtime, they were just blowing off steam. They were all blitzed. And I was like, all right, now there's comedy. And they're like, boo, you suck. And they just let us.
That's amazing.
They were drunk. They didn't give a shit. They weren't yelling, you suck, really, but they were just like, hey, talk about your mom. Like they just, whatever fucking dumb heckles. All they did was shout. Yeah. It was That's like, awesome. You could not get a word in edgewise. And I do remember this. I got to tour the nuclear sub Omaha afterward because they're like, hey, we apologize for those assholes on the ship. Here, come take a look at our sub. And you got to pat the new. It was really neat because they're like, sorry about the dickheads. Come. But yeah, it was a horrible show. All they did was yell at us.
But I'll bet they didn't look super hungry, because they were probably getting resupplies on that ship. The fact that they have somehow, it speaks to the incompetence of leadership that they have not been able to get more food to that ship somehow. I mean, it's in a body of water that has a decent amount of American bases around there. You could theoretically, if not even bring another ship to it, like I said, fly some birds, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like land on there. And I just assumed that like with an aircraft carrier that size, all those things just had a corner of some warehouse space somewhere where it's just stacks upon stacks of MREs in case some contingency plan has to happen because we're in the middle of a nuclear war and they can't dock anywhere. And it's just, we have to like stay out at sea for months or years even because things have gone crazy and it's full on World War III Armageddon type stuff. We could keep this crew sustained somehow just on MRI. Now it's not going to be good. It's not, you're not,
but you're going to be fed. You're not going to be withering away.
It's going to be MREs. But I just assumed that they had so much food on there, even without being resupplied, that they could last for longer than this without having to go rationing. But I mean, dude, I've been listening to. You ever listen to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast?
Oh yeah. Not in a while, but man, when he goes deep, there are some fascinating episodes.
Yeah, the most recent one he came out with, he's in the middle of doing Alexander the Great, and it's like part 3 or 4 or something. But anyway, like he was talking about, and I've heard him talk about this before, but how even back in Alexander's days, I mean, so much of how fast you could move your army and the route you moved your army had to do with the food
supply chain
on the way to the, because he said, I think at the time that he was fighting Persia, Alexander's army would drink like 100,000 gallons of water a day, and so you can only imagine how much food. And so part of like being a skilled general back then wasn't just the sexy parts that we think of, the battle maneuvers and flanking people and, where to use these movements and how to line up and when to attack and things like that. It was also just the logistic parts of keeping these guys fed during a long occupation, especially like a siege or something like that. How do you get food to tens of thousands of guys every single day who are just kind of on the move? And it's not like there's bodegas, like you got to figure this shit out. But they could do it back then, but it was just always a known thing. So even back then, 3000 BC or whatever the fuck this was, to sit there and go,
to have it be a modern problem today.
We have to have absurd food for these guys for an indefinite amount of time. We have to have a resupply plan that could theoretically go on forever. And that has to be built into the thing. The fact that the modern U.S. military, with as much technology, as much hardware we have, could not have just deployed these guys without any sort of sense of like, how do we get them resupplied? I mean, it just speaks to the incompetency of this administration.
Well, I mean, and I'm not going to go down, but this is something I learned in high school, and I just finished the Tom Hanks podcast on World War II. But that was the thing with the Nazis invading Russia, is they just barreled in, and then it was like, oh, supply line fucked. Like they stretched themselves too thin. I visited Camp Anaconda in Iraq, and it was good times. I heard a firefight. I remember I was in the computer tent emailing home, and I'm like, I literally remember asking my liaison afterward. I'm like, hey, I heard some gunfire and my first thought was like, oh, they're at a shooting range. And then I thought, no, the walls are right there. I bet they don't have a shoot. He's like, no, if you hear gunfire, there's a firefight. I'm like, oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that was
quick
one
stories.
I got flown to testify in a court martial where a guy in my platoon got drunk and lit a latrine on fire.
Oh, well, I mean, you get sick of those latrines.
I didn't snitch though. God damn it.
Speaking of food,
I didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nothing. And by God, I wasn't drinking. Lie, and lie. And I said it under oath. Fuck them. That was the only lies told during the Iraq War. Suck a dick.
Remember when we gave Argentina $20 billion and said we were going to start buying their beef because, why support American farmers? Nearly 30,000 pounds of raw beef recalled over missed import inspection. What? Oh, beef products in Florida, Texas, coming from Argentina, South America, Argentina. Recalled. So good job on giving them $20 billion. Here are the final two stories really quick, because they touch on the same thing. Joseph and Kendra Duggars' $40,000 Arkansas home lingers on the market as they withdraw not guilty plea in child endangerment case. So they have withdrawn their not guilty plea after being charged with 4 counts of second-degree endangering the welfare of a minor and 4 counts of second-degree false imprisonment following a search of their Arkansas home. As the younger brother of convicted sex offender Josh Duggar, they were convicted. They were charged with after a home inspection. And then next story, Lauren Boebert, and I know I'm saying it wrong because I like to French it up. Lauren Boebert, son charged with child sexual exploitation. He took pictures of a 17-year-old girl. Now, I am not defending him. According to the story, he was 18. So it's one of those things that's like, he's 30. Yeah, stop. It's they were dating and they broke up, and then she's like, well, he took pictures of me. I'm not defending him. It's not like he was in his 30s and she was 17.
Well, no, you said you're not defending him. I am defending him. It was his girlfriend. Yeah. It was an age appropriate girlfriend. Like what? It was an age appropriate.
But so I'm just saying the headline is he's been charged with child. It's a breakup. She regrets it now that they've broken up. But this is
right. Look, all of our kids have phones these days. If you think that your 16-year-old kids aren't sending each other nudes, you live in the difference fantasy land. What's up?
The difference from what I understand, I don't think it says it it doesn't say it in this article, but I read it in a different one. The difference is apparently he took the picture. So that's why it's not he received the picture. They're saying, well he took the picture. They're age appropriate. They were dating in high school. Yeah.
But that does raise an interesting legal question. If, let's say, you're 16, you get nudes or whatever from your 16-year-old significant other, you then keep them on your phone till you're 38. Is that the same as possessing technically it is, but it's not.
But is it nostalgia? But Ken has a point. I didn't read it, but he's like, maybe he shared the images. I don't know. Let's look into it for next week because we're out of time.
Here's an interesting one. If I took pictures of myself as a minor and I then go sell those pictures as an adult, can I be found guilty of selling child porn if it was me?
Or would it be entrapment?
A little bit. I mean, the sentence shouldn't be as high. Do I then have to do I have to move throughout the trial? Like right now I'm sitting next to the defense lawyer and then you're like, oh, wait, who's up? Okay, hang on. And then I go over
to the prosecution side.
I have to switch back and forth.
Exploited.
I switch from bow tie to regular tie, depending on, you know what I mean? And I got a little fake mustache. I got a fake pedo stash for the defendant, you know what I mean? And then I take it off when I'm the victim. Hey, look at that guy with his creepy stash. Of course he's guilty, Your Honor.
We'll find out by next week. All right. I have been Nathan Timmel. You can find all things me at nathantimmel.com, including links to my bookstore, my merch store, and my special Unapologetic on YouTube. Just crossed 100,000 views. And if I look really quickly, I don't know how fast I can pull it up. It's not going to be worth it. I was going to say, I think I have there it is. Can I find it really quick? Analytics. It has come on, don't load so slow. Oh, I was going to say, I don't see it. I was going to say, the last time I checked, it was like a 98% positive rating. Like people like it. So Unapologetic just crossed 100,000 views and people like it. Jake has been and will remain Jake Vevra. You can find him on all social media at Jake Vevra. He admitted earlier he doesn't post enough on TikTok. He should, so that when we go live, it boosts our numbers. Yes. But his special, Unalived by Dog Pills, you can bump up its numbers by viewing it on YouTube.
So.
And
go to sleep if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but I think we got one more week at the regular time. Then you're going to be in Iowa. So next week should be good for regular time. And then we'll start pushing for football season. Yeah, next week is the 23rd. So, all right, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Good talking to you, Jake. Good seeing your face.
Donate to my homeless charity. I'm only keeping $500,000.
Nice.